Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have the good pleasure to sit down with Frank Saldana, who comes to us all the way from sunny California. Frank, you are a brave soul to come here in the middle of winter. Frank is a pastor, and he and his wife, Kim, has started a ministry named Inner City Action. They have dedicated their lives to restoring struggling communities. So, Frank, thank you for joining us here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
So, can you tell the viewers a little bit about your ministry, the Inner City Action, and what you folks do?
All right. Well, I guess Inner City Action, we're based out of Stockton, California. And we started probably May of 2010. And just on our journey, we just know by evangelizing on the streets, there was such a great need. We picked up some housing and brought people in, recovered, fed them. Through the power and presence of God, seen transformation take place in their life. And so before I used to look at it where it seemed like there was this long, drawn-out process to seeing transformation, I said there has to be one encounter with salvation and everything becomes new. And so so it just kind of changed the way we did things. So we would bring them in, get them under the presence, get them under the power, and a true spirit of revival and fire, we would see transformation take place. So it made our job so much easier.
How did you decide to start this ministry? Just you saw the need?
Yes. Well, actually, you know what? We were out, giving up groceries and clothes, and we started having this one building where we started bringing them in and praying for them and feeding them clothes, groceries. Well, there was a group of young ladies that came in, and they would get out of a rehab, and when they got out, no one would take them in because for them to get their kids back, they had to have a program that allowed them to go to treatment programs, parenting programs, drug programs, all these programs. So we had to say we needed a place for them to stay. If not, they would go back to a homeless shelter. Nobody would take them. Then a guy would come out and he would take some guy, a random guy, would take them and prostitute them, and they were back in the cycle again. Oh, no. So we prayed and said, Lord, we need somebody to help us get a place. So we did that. We prayed. There was a gentleman that came and asked us what we're doing. I shared with him we're looking for housing. And he said for 3 nights, the Lord wouldn't let him sleep. So they called me up 3 days later and said, what do you think about this place? It was a 2-acre place. And so we knew it was the Lord when we closed in 13 days.
Oh my goodness, 13-day close?
Yeah.
Wow, I guess so. So it really goes into my next question. How has your ministry changed the lives of people? You've just told us a little bit about that.
Well, real quick, the Lord told us to get a bus. So we took a bus and we gutted the bus and put clothes in it, and we started driving down parks to park to parks. And one day we stopped under a bridge and we set up 100 chairs, did some worship, some prayer out there. Next thing you know, 100 people showed up. And the Lord said, go back again. Then the next week, again, this is not putting a little extra on us, 200 people showed up the next week. Then we came back the 3rd week, 300 people showed up. We came back the 4th week, 400 people showed up. We were just like amazing show. Now the people that were coming, it was a big open field. There were homeless, there were addicts, there was prostitutes, there was drug dealers, and we would set up. Of course, we would feed them. We'd have worship for like 2 hours. I mean, you could feel the presence of God. It was so tangible there.
So you are a strategic partner with Mario Murillo.
Yeah, so this is where
how'd that come about?
I met him in Vallejo. Okay. I heard about his ministry and went out there and visited him. Signs, wonders, miracles. First time I came in encounter with such a powerful ministry like Mario. So I said, you know what? I have to have him under the bridge. So I invited him and said, Mario, will you come out? Right? And he thought about it for a minute and he said, I'm going to come. And so we invited him out and came out. People got saved, people got healed, salvation. So that kind of began a relationship of communication. But back in Vallejo, if I walked away with seeing salvation and the demonstration of power, was one thing he said. He goes, one day I'm going to have a tent. And so, going forward again, not long after he came under the bridge, he called me one day and he said, I have something in my yard. I said, what's that? And he goes, I have 2 semi-trucks with a tent and 1,000 chairs. And I said, wow, so let me come take a look at this. So we drove up to where he was at in Reno. I've seen everything. We rented some other trucks, put everything in trucks, and brought them back to our facility. Okay. And so, because we're an outreach ministry, and so he is. So at that point, with 50 years experience, able to him to help us, father us in this. So it's been an amazing, I would say, marriage.
Oh, that's
in ministries.
exciting. I didn't realize that. So it sounds like you're boots on the ground. Is that what you do for Mario? You go into the communities and you visit the region and then do the same type of street ministry?
Yes. Usually brings us in from anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 months. Okay. And one thing about Mario, because of the 50 years experience, is he has a ground game. He gets a download from the Lord, and he tells us, this is what we're going to do. Okay. And every city is kind of different. And he says, this is the execution, this is the plan. From the streets, from the rehabs to the churches, and any form. We brought semi-trucks in there with food, knocking on the door, sharing with them what's coming. And so we're seeing salvation, signs, wonders, and miracles, even leading up to the tent.
How is your ministry received by the communities you go into?
You know what? Very well.
Okay.
Especially at this time, they're realizing that we need to be outside the four walls. And the pastors are real receptive to who we are and what we do. Very supportive, coming together, giving some people on the streets. So it's good to see that pastors want to get outside the four walls. And they do believe that right now we're in a time where salvation is so important.
No, that is very exciting. So where do you get the people who volunteer in your organization and for Mario's meetings?
It's amazing because it's like, Mario's a general. He just he puts the fleets out there. Like right now we have over 1,300 volunteers in Hanford alone.
Really?
So I believe with all my heart that people are praying all over America and they're ready to be busy doing something. So when he puts it out there, they respond for it. Because who takes their family, brings them out to California,
sure,
gets a hotel or RV and come and want to be part of the ground game all the way up to the tent, And so it's awesome to see that you have, 500 people that want to pray and people want to work in the parking lots and people want to evangelize. So it's actually overwhelming and exciting at the same time. Sure. But I think that's how we're going to see an invasion of a city. So we're expecting to see just a total invasion.
If someone wanted to volunteer, whether they're in this region or would come to this region, who should they contact?
They would go into mariomurillo.org and you have the number on there, or it's Facebook. And it has a number on there too. When they give us a call, we'll give them the link how to sign up. And then we email them back right away, let them know what the ground game is.
So we will put that on our screen for our viewers. Anyone who wants to come to Western New York, you are welcome here. We'd love you to sign up and be part of this wonderful move of God here. So, parting words, what would you like our viewers to know for your expectation, both for tonight's meeting and coming here in the spring?
Well, I just want to say when there's an authentic revival, there needs to be a harmony with all of us working together. This is how this works. And that's why I think there's such success here in Batavia, because everybody's coming together, not in a competition, not in a jealous or envious, not trying to build a church, but really have an impact for America. And so I think that true spirit of revival. And so I would say, come out and encounter it and bring it back home with you.
People might be surprised if they've never experienced a move of God. That might be a term that they say, what does that mean? In a couple of sentences, how would you describe a move of God? I believe that we serve such a powerful God. And when Jesus Christ is in us, that there's nations in us. He says, go out to nations, but I believe it shakes something inside of us. So I believe that we're generals. I believe we're the remnant. People are looking for vision. They're looking for purpose. And they'll find it in God if they come to a true movement of God. Well, that's great. Any parting words for our audience tonight? I just want to share with you guys that it's worth traveling to come out to be a part of what's going on. And you really can't judge something till you experience it. And so may God receive all the glory. And that's one thing I love about Mario and his ministry, that literally it's a ministry that gives God all the glory. And we hope and pray that every city that we go to, that revival stays there. And true revival gathers, true revival awakens, not just a church, but a city. And so I would say that's what I would leave with somebody. That's great, Frank. That's really powerful. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us, and we look forward to seeing you in the spring. Okay, thank you. Thank you.